Hi guys, my name is Alex and welcome back to Epic News. So today we're going to be looking at another article. This is an interview between the game designers of Warhammer Legions Imperialis and the Warhammer community. Um, we're also going to be looking at the Horus Heresy website or Legions Imperialis website, and we'll do that after the article read. So I'd like to zoom in here real quick on the article. It's kind of a grainy image here, but I think that this picture is very cool. If you go on your mobile phone, the image will be a lot clearer. But I think that this is very cool, and it shows off a lot of the new terrain very nicely too. It looks like it's going to be very modular, so you can build it however you'd like to, just like the current 40K like ruins are. Um, but yeah, I think that that's very cool. The way that the terrain looks specifically. All right. Warhammer community investigates how did the biggest battles of the Horus Heresy shape Legions Imperialis. The Imperium was torn apart by apocalyptic battles during the Age of Darkness, as loyalists and traitors hurled the full might of humanity at each other in a desperate struggle for supremacy. These battles are on the canvas of which games of Warhammer the Horus Heresy Legions Imperialis are played, recreating epic scenes from the grand drama of Horus's rebellion with massive armies and titanic war machines. So again, in this image, we see that new like base plate that they have. Hopefully, that will be available for purchase. Um, Hopefully, not at an exuberant cost, because I do think that these are really cool looking, and we get a little bit more uh, like another look at this new terrain, which is very nice. All right. To find out more about how the cataclysmic battles we know and love from the Horus Heresy series, like the deadly showdowns by Beta Garmin and the infamous Drop Site Massacre, helped guide Legions Imperialis to greatness, we turned to the team who designed it with a few questions. Warhammer community. What makes Legions Imperialis so good for representing the largest battles fought during the heresy? While a typical Warhammer the Horus Heresy battle may contain 30 to 50 Space Marines and a few dreadnoughts and armored vehicles, this is merely a small part of Legions Imperialis games, which routinely feature hundreds of infantry and dozens of armored vehicles and walkers battling over whole city sectors. In fact, a close ranged fight between detachments in the engagement or advancing fire stage in Legions Imperialis is almost analogous to the entire Horus Heresy battle in scale, resolved as only a small part of a much larger battle with only a few dice rolls. So, what we can kind of get out of that statement is that you're not going to be rolling as many dice, as I said, fewer dice rolls. Um, which is good. They're like generalizing things. So maybe one unit, like one little 5-man squad of tactical marines, may only be represented by one dice, or maybe a two dice or something like that. Um, which I think is cool because it's showing that the actions of one squad is not going to have a huge effect on the entire war at large. Warhammer community. Are there any major battles from the Horus Heresy you're keen to relive through Legions Imperialis? The really vast ones for sure. Battles such as those fought on Talarn, where large numbers of armored vehicles did battle across enormous toxic wastelands, are easily represented in Legions Imperialis, where such numbers can be easily fielded. Similarly, the dropsite massacre of Istvan V, where whole companies of Legions Astartes did battle shoulder to shoulder, can be more easily represented at this scale. Sweet. Yeah. So I mean, that doesn't really give us anything on how the game is going to play or anything. Um, but they're saying, yeah, they're going to look forward to like recreating some narrative events. Um, this is a very, very cool picture here. It gives us a scale for how big this terrain is going to be, and like how many models can fit inside of it. As you can see, they very easily can fit these new bases inside of these terrain pieces, like they said in the last article. Um, as they design their ruins for these new bases. And these Titans here look really cool. They're from Adeptus Titanicus, fighting alongside these Raven Guard Marines and the Solar Auxilia tanks, the Malkador tanks. Um, yeah, very cool. It's nice that they all are very clearly in scale with one another. Warhammer community. Did any of the major battles give you ideas you wanted to use when designing Legions Imperialis. Several of the famous battles from the Horus Heresy inspired some of the missions found in Legions Imperialis rulebook. However, in the same fashion as the Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, or Adeptus Titanicus supplements, we wanted to make sure we could really do these battles justice in future books. So for those in the found in the rulebook are deliberately broad in their scope, allowing players to match their own narrative to their battles. So what they're saying in this paragraph here is that they're not going to have specific narrative events in the core rulebook, and that they're probably going to release like narrative books similar to like Arcs of Omen or things like that, separately as like separate campaign books that you can play. All right, thanks guys. We can't wait to put our legions from the awesome launch set into or onto the battlefield and play out the most destructive battles Warhammer has ever seen. And if you're just as keen as us, stay tuned to Warhammer community as we get closer to release day. Cool. So that's a cool article. I think that the pictures are really revealing a lot to us about the terrain. Um, I really like this picture here too. Obviously, these barricades are brand new. Um, they look really cool. They look very modular too. Um, Man, these things are going to be tiny because these bases, they said they're 25 millimeter bases. That's 1 inch. That's the size of a guardsman base, man. These things are going to be tiny. So like this little barricade here is probably also like not even 1 inch tall if they're able to like peek over and stuff. Oh man, this is going to be a small game. But I wonder. I think it's going to be cool to see if games are played on like a big table, like how 40K is, or if they're going to be played on like the smaller battle mats, like how Kill Team is. That is going to be very interesting to see. So let's go over and check out the Legions Imperialis main website. I already scrolled through here a bit. There's actually not very much on here. Um, what they show is the release trailer. I'm not going to play it because copyright stuff. Um, Battle on a New Scale, Warhammer the Horus Heresy Legions Imperialis is a game of vast tabletop battles for 2 or more players. The epic scale miniatures used in this game are smaller than those used in Warhammer the Horus Heresy, allowing you to field more units and recreate the massive conflicts of the Imperial Civil War on the tabletop. Declare your loyalty to the Emperor or War Master, and fight for the fate of the war-torn Imperium and the galaxy itself. Then it says discover your legion. This is like a little kind of like personality test almost, just to see what legion that you fit in with more. Um, what's in the box? Choose a side and decide the fate of humanity. This box set contains everything you need to play games of mass combat in the Age of Darkness, including 223 epic scale miniatures across 61 gaming pieces, as well as rules and accessories. So here's the box. This actually doesn't look like too thick of a box. Like it's definitely not as thick as Leviathan. It doesn't look like, which would make sense because it's like every all the miniatures are smaller. Um, Here's the rule book. That rule book does look pretty thick. Okay, so there's tokens here. That's important because now we know that there's going to be tokens. We kind of already could like a little bit infer that because they said that you're giving orders and you have to like kind of anticipate what orders your opponent are going to give their units. A little transfer sheet. Looks like there's going to be templates, which I think is really cool. I know templates are a little bit controversial, but I've never played with them personally, and I can't wait to try them out in this new game. Then it shows some of the contents: the Solar Auxilia and Astartes, and the Titans. And that's it for this for their website here. I'll check back in on this regularly and give you guys updates if I find any new things on their website. But that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Epic News will be back tomorrow with another article read, or if I find anything else interesting. I'll also be releasing a video comparing the size and scale and how small we can anticipate these miniatures, as well as some like little painting tips from myself after painting a few epic scale miniatures. All right, well, that's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alex Hune, and I'll catch you later.